Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Finish training for the day? Time to fight post-workout fatigue with Core Power Protein Shakes. They're packed with 26 grams of high-quality protein to build muscle and electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to help your body replenish, rebuild, and repair post-workout so you can power on to the next one. Champion your recovery with Core Power. Visit corepower.com to learn more.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Wynn. Welcome to How We're the Podcast, and regular listeners will know how much we like to throw in a treat every now and again. And we have yet another today, because today we speak to someone who spent 2 years with Sunderland, but it was right in the thick of what turned out to be the beginning of the huge turnaround that brought us to the position we find the club in now. Because today we have the pleasure to talk to Carl Winchester. Hello, Carl.
Hi, mate. You okay?
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Keeping well. Still playing away, so can't complain.
Yeah, so saw that. Derry City back in the red and white.
Yeah, back home, back in Ireland. Made the decision to come back because my family they were over here. So the little one, she was getting older, and it was a bit hard on her, like traveling back and forth all the time. So we just made the decision that I would come home.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, look, we'll kind of come on to Sunderland stuff in a minute, but I want to. You mentioned like not Northern Ireland and going back home, because it all started off at Linfield, didn't it? When you were kind of you were only about 17 when you got the chance to go to Oldham Athletic.
Yeah, I was a young lad. Started off well. It was local team like AV United. Then I get spotted there by Linfield, and I went up through the youth ranks at Linfield. And then I got the chance to go over to Oldham when I was 17, so I was really thankful for that. So then I went to Oldham, then just kicked on from there, just stayed in England for most of my career.
Yeah, I mean that was you going back to 2010 for that. I mean, was there always quite a lot of scouts across in Northern Ireland from English clubs watching the league?
Yeah, there was at the time. There was quite a lot. I was in like the Northern Ireland youth setups as well, so we would always play like youth international matches, and there would always be scouts at them games, or like local games as well. It was a big match, like cup matches and that there, or like finals. The local scouts would be there watching the game. So there was quite a lot of scouts about at that time, and I was just thankfully that I got the opportunity to go across to Oldham when I was younger.
Yeah, well, of course we've got Trey Hume now. I mean, looking at the league now, does it still gain a lot of interest in terms of clubs looking at those younger players? And is there one or two Sunderland might be worth having a look at?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think especially Trey was in the Northern Irish League. I'm in the Southern League. And there's quite a lot of young lads that do get moves. I think Shamrock Rovers there sold a young kid to Arsenal. And then St. Pat's had another young lad that went to Tottenham as well. So there's good young players in the league. It's just about finding them. It's all about opportunity as well. About giving the kids opportunity. Like you say, Trey, unbelievable, done unbelievable for himself. But without opportunity, you don't really get that chance, do you? And it's just about getting the right people to spot them. And obviously, the players suited to that club. I thought Trey was a great suit for Sunderland, because he's one of them players. He'll give his all no matter what. And he was a perfect match for them.
Yeah, you saw that tackle at Wembley, and I think he was definitely the right choice for Sunderland. But looking at when you came across, obviously we mentioned you came across with Oldham. But I was looking and they were churning through managers when you joined because I think Dave Penny was just leave. And then you had former Sunderland player Martin Gray was caretaker before Paul Dickoff took over. But that can't have been easy for a young lad coming across.
Nah, like Paul Dickoff actually give me my debut, so I'll be forever thankful for him for that. But yeah, my time at Oldham, it was crazy. It was like a mad one. It was like going through manager after manager after manager, and it was just like you never really got settled with that one manager. But that's part and parcel of football. It was all about results. It's all about results at the end of the day, and the managers. Some managers actually done well. I think Lee Johnson actually went on to get a move out of it, but most of the time managers would come in and they would be there for 6 to 8 months, maybe a year at most. Then they would be moving on because obviously the results weren't going as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things moved really quickly, actually, once you got that move to Oldham, because not long after that, I think it was 2011, you got called to the senior Northern Ireland squad, and I think it was Nigel Worthington when you debut, but that was only at 18. I mean, things moved really quickly. It must have
Yeah.
been a really big moment.
It was so high, everything happened so fast. Like literally I went over to England, and what happened with me was my international clearance wouldn't come through, so I couldn't play for the youth team in the league. So at the time, it was like reserves. There was no under 23s, under 21s or that. It was like proper men reserves where you're playing against like lads who wouldn't play on the Saturday, would play on the Tuesday. So you're playing basically men's football. So I couldn't play for the youth team on Saturdays. So it actually helped me. I would play for the reserves on Tuesdays, and I would be doing really well for the reserves. And then the manager would come and watch the reserve team games, and he obviously spotted me. Then he ended up giving me my debut away to Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup in my first year as a scholar. So it actually worked out well for me when my international clearance didn't come through.
Yeah,
That's a blessing, yeah.
bring back those days of reserve team football.
That's what I say now. Like it's completely changed. Like back then, like you were playing against men, and it helped you develop so much. So when you went into a first team game or a first team environment, you were already prepared.
Yeah, I remember going back the days of watching Brian Robson play for Man United reserves. God
Yeah.
knows how many years ago. But looking at it, it seems really strange to me. Having seen you played for Sunderland later on, that it seems really strange that you didn't get more caps for your country. Was that a big frustration?
No, probably at the time they had a lot of players that were playing probably championship and Premiership football.
Well,
Talking about like Steve Davis, back then. Who else would have been in midfield? Maybe Sammy Clingham was when I was growing up. There was a lot of players playing at a higher level, so I would understand why I would never really get called into the squad. Obviously, when I was younger, they probably seen a bit of potential and thinking, "Oh, we'll put him in the Northern Ireland setup. Maybe I give him the chance to boost his club level and make get a move out of that." But at the time, I was just really focused on my club football rather than international. And then if international would come up, I would obviously be happy and buzzing with it. But I knew really I wasn't playing probably at a high enough level to be called into the
yeah.
setup.
Yeah. Well, it took you a couple of years to get in, and it seemed to all kind of click when Lee Johnson came in. Was it just a case of him giving you a run of games that you needed at the time?
Yeah, I think as a young player, you're always going to get them ups and downs, aren't you? I think sometimes, obviously, I wasn't consistent enough in my performances as a young lad, which happens, and you learn from it. Then the season Lee Johnson came in, I think it was the season after even, it all just clicked. And then I played a lot that season, done well. I think got young player of the season, I got player of the season, and had a really good season under him.
Mm, yeah. I mean, you were a first team regular for a couple of years, but then you moved from League One to League Two when you signed for Lee Johnson's dad, Gary Johnson, at,
Yeah.
at Cheltenham Town. And seeing you see them and you see them on the TV, and they do look like very different managers, but that's in front of the camera. Is that true behind the scenes?
Um, Yeah, I think every manager's different. Like they have their own way of playing, what way they want their team set up, their own philosophy, and all that comes with it. But both of them were really good to me and helped me a lot in my career. So I would be thankful for both of them because probably without them, I wouldn't have got the heights that I got to in terms of like going to Sunderland and getting a promotion.
Yeah. Well, you were kind of club captain and played pretty much every game at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
And you made the move to local rivals Forest Green. And I know this isn't, AC Milan, Inter Milan, but was it a bit controversial at the time because you were club captain at Cheltenham?
Yeah, no, I think it's just Forest Green. I spoke to them and I knew the type of players that were signing for the league, and they wanted to basically win the league at the time, and the caliber of players they're bringing in for that level were good. So I obviously had chats with the manager and that, and told me the plans, and it just took me, and I was just like, yeah, I want to be part of that there. I know in football it's hard, like because I was looking at it on from a fan. You are club captain and you go to your local rivals. It isn't nice, but in terms of me and my footballing career, I had to pick what was best for myself.
Yeah. Well, you were there for 2.5 years, and by this time, Lee Johnson becomes manager of Sunderland. And we come to January 2021. So at this point, obviously, everyone's playing behind closed doors due to COVID. Everyone's talking about football finances. Everybody's talking about the football bubble and how is football continuing. And you make a move from Forest Green to Sunderland in January 2021. I mean, how was it to make a transfer and decide to actually make a move during that time? Because everything was up in the air.
Yeah, but mate, as soon as a club like Sunderland comes calling, like you're not, there's nothing was stopping me from going there. Like mate, honestly, nothing. As soon as I heard there was interest, I went in. I spoke to the manager at Forest Green. I had a really good relationship with, and I was just like, look, you need to make this happen. Like this is my chance. Like I'm not getting any younger, and I want to go and play for a club like Sunderland because obviously growing up watching Sunderland in the Premier League and all, it's what you dream of as a kid really playing for them big clubs, and I was just like them, like please try and make it happen. He was like, because I was such a good servant, the Forest Green, he was like, I'll do my best, and thankfully they got it over the line.
Yeah. Was Lee Johnson being manager, was that just like the kind of cherry on top that you knew the manager already?
Yeah, and obviously he knew the type of player I was as well, so it helps a lot going into a new club, knowing what you're going into. So I was like, I'm thankful for him as well for giving me that opportunity because let's be honest, like a club like Sunderland, you aren't going to League Two and picking players from Forest Green really, like are you, unless it's a young lad who's scoring goals and doing really well. So he obviously had faith in my ability and knew what I was capable of. So it was just really probably down to him as well was a big part of it.
Yeah, well, we were in a strange place because Phil Parkinson had gotten the sack I think it was about a month before, and like I said, Lee Johnson had already been in for a matter of weeks. I mean, how did you find things when you came in? Because I imagine there was a lot of players trying to work Lee Johnson out, and you already knew him, and you were then signed, and
Yeah.
people, oh, well, hang on, he knows the manager.
No, it was tough, but like I walked in and obviously it was big characters in the change room, players played at a really, really top level. So it was just a case of getting myself in, putting my head down and working hard and showing everyone what I could do. Look, when I first went in, it was just kind of like, whoa, like I seen the training ground, the facilities, the stadium, everything. Obviously, I didn't get the experience, the fans at that time because of COVID, but just the facilities and all that there, I was just taken back by. I couldn't believe it. Like going from like League Two, League One till basically Premier League facilities, it was unbelievable. And like the lads come when I first came in, they were all great to me. So they all helped me like really settle in.
Well, like I said, we were in a strange place. I think we were sitting outside the playoffs in League One, which of course, Sunderland at the time, we obviously didn't want to be in that position. As soon as you joined the club, could you, because there was a lot of pressure on those players when Sunderland were down League One, could you feel that?
Yeah, of course, mate. Like I say, especially in League One, there's always going to be that type of pressure. I think every team playing against Sunderland, they always up their game because they are playing Sunderland. But look, it's part and parcel of football, especially when you're playing for the big clubs. You have to play under pressure, and I believe like if you can do that there, if you can play at a place like Sunderland, then you can play anywhere because there is a lot of pressure. Don't get me wrong, but see when you get it right and you get going, it's the best place in the world.
Yeah, yeah. And just on Lee Johnson, because you, as I said, you worked on him with him at Oldham and Sunderland, and we get an impression of managers all the time from how they are in front of the cameras, because that's virtually the only interaction we kind of get with them. But I imagine they're very different behind the scenes. But I mean, what type of manager is Lee Johnson? Because people forget that we were sitting outside the playoffs when he took over, and we went on a good run to challenge for promotion that year.
Yeah, he really good manager. Really detailed. He does know his stuff. Um, Obviously when he did get dismissed, it was down to results at the end of the day. But like I say, when I came in, I learned a lot from him. Just like his detail, especially because he was a midfielder himself. He just taught me little things that would help me out on the pitch. It's probably not everyone's cup of tea. Don't get me wrong, but for me, look, I couldn't thank him enough. He was brilliant for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing you probably didn't realise it when you joined it in January. Obviously, you were cup tied for the EFL trophy that year, and you kind of watched us go to Wembley and play Tranmere in that final. But with it being behind closed doors, obviously you were watching it from kind of not being able to play, but do you think the lads who played in it kind of enjoyed the whole thing, or was it just a strange experience?
It was a strange experience, but in a way, you probably got used to it in terms of because this season there was no fans in,
Mm.
so we kind of got used to that bit. But it was like I experienced obviously I didn't obviously play, but I was there when we won beat Wickham, and I experienced that there compared to the Tranmere game, and it's like totally, it was unbelievable. Like the Wickham was like I still think about it now. I still get goosebumps because see when Ambo's going in, then Ross's going in, then the scenes and all was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But obviously comparing that to like the cup final, it's night and day.
Yeah. And because after you joined, we lost twice and won 12 out of 18 league games, and we got all the way up to third, and we looked like we might challenge automatically. But then the wheels came off suddenly, and we won only one of the last 9. I mean, can you remember the feeling around the place? Was it kind of down to the pressure of getting into that position where we made it possible, or was it just one of those runs in football you can never explain?
I think it was just one of them runs in football. You just can't explain. Obviously, like everyone was just thinking like, what's going on here? Because obviously we'd done so well up to that period. Then they say it was only one out of the last 9 or one, and you couldn't put a finger on why. Because obviously we had all the players were capable of winning games, but it just didn't happen, and for whatever reason, we just couldn't put our finger on it.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't come that long after the cup win. I mean, can you remember the kind of importance that was placed on winning that cup? I mean, was because the EFL trophy was always going to play second fiddle to Sunderland fans in terms of getting promoted. We always wanted to get out of League One, but in terms of the players, did it become a big thing when it became a Wembley final and there was a cup at stake?
Yeah, massive. I think a club like Sunderland, the fans and all deserve to be winning trophies, no matter what level it's at. Especially if you're in the AFL Cup, you'll be one of the favourites to win that trophy. So there's pressure on you to win that. And the lads went out and done it that season, and fair play to them because um, it does take a lot, especially when you're probably up against it most games. 'Cause like I say, you're always expected to win every game, and it's not like that. There is no real easy games in football because, like you say, when you play against a team like Sunderland, everyone's up in their level. So there is a bit of pressure on winning it, but look, the lads showed what they could do, and they got over the finish line in the end.
Yeah. You said you joined, you were saying, "Oh, I've joined Sunderland," that was a chance to join a club, obviously with a huge stadium and all of that. But how was that? It must have been a strange experience to join, and that period where you played in front of nobody. I mean, you can't really imagine it really for that length of time.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like it was tough. I think for a lot of players as well. It's the fans at the end of the day that they make football, don't they? Like the experience of scoring last minute goal, scoring a goal. I remember scoring my first goal at the Stadium of Light and just thinking, wow, this is unbelievable. Like you'll never get a feeling like it in your life. So obviously, it's just it was strange, like the fans not being there. But I always say out there, the fans they do make football at the end of the day. Look, no matter what, players come and go from clubs, don't they? But the fans, no matter, they'll always be there. They're the heartbeat of the club. So without them in the stadium, then football, it wasn't that there COVID. I personally, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we ended up getting the semi-final and the playoff semi-final, of course, and that was
Yeah.
behind closed doors against Lincoln. You came off the bench in the second leg of the Stadium of Light, and I remember us having chances, but there seemed to almost be, because we went into the playoffs in that really bad run, there seemed to be this acceptance that we just weren't in form, and it just kind of fizzled out in that playoff semi-final.
I was tough looking back on it now. I think Lincoln, to be fair, Lincoln had a good team at that time as well. I think a lot of their players, Morgan Rogers, Brennan Johnson, they went on, done brilliant things in their career. But I think it was the away tie that I think that killed us a bit. Then we went into the home tie. We went 1-0 up early. Well, with Roscoe. Then did it finish? What was it?
It was 2-1 in the second leg. It
Two
was
one,
2-0.
2-1, 2-1 the
Yeah.
second leg. So no, it was a tough one to take. Don't get me wrong. Like all the lads in the change room after were sitting there, like everyone was gutted, because obviously the goal for Sunderland in League One is to get promoted. So it was a sore one to take, but we knew, look, we had to put it behind us now, and then next season we have to just end the day, get promoted.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that summer, you saw the likes of, Corey Evans coming in, Callum Doyle, Dennis Serkin, Niall Huggins. There was a few others. I think Thorben Hoffman, I think, was another one. Alves from West Ham. Could you feel a bit of a sea change in the types of players we were bringing in the profile?
Yeah, I think they went for a younger players, probably with a good sell-on value. Because when I first went in the change room, there was a lot of experienced players that play at League One, like I say, a higher level out there. But then the next transfer window, they were recruiting a lot of young players, and I think that was the type of model they wanted to go down. And like at the end of the day, you can't complain about it because it's worked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we got off to a flying start, but I wanted to ask you about the opening day of the season, because we've already touched on it, but that was against Wigan at home. And actually, incidentally, Max Power, Charlie White was in their team, which must have been a strange thing. But this was your first game with a proper crowd at the Stadium of Light, and we had over 30,000 there to see us Wigan. And that must have been a good day for you to say, right, I've come to Sunderland, I've finally played at the Stadium of Light with a full crowd.
I think I was just my chance to show everyone what I'm capable of. Everyone once it joined, everyone talked about it, the fans, how good it is, how the atmosphere is about the place on match day. Everyone be buzzing and all, and then when you're playing in it, obviously the song Wise Men Sing before the game and all, like I say, goosebumps. And everyone was telling me about it, but until you actually experience it, you don't know what it's like. And then the opening day, I experienced it, and it was like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And I mentioned that the flying start, and we dipped slightly, but we were third in late January. And then we went to Bolton Wanderers, and we ended up getting hammered 6-0. Yeah, that everything just fell apart. And it was a surprise to some that Lee Johnson was sacked almost straight after the game. But what was the reaction of the squad? Because, there was always that debate, third in the league, but we got beat 6-0. So it was this real confusion about the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that everyone was kind of surprised, like you say, third in the league. But I think it was a couple of teams that season where we got heavy defeats, and I think obviously the board and made a decision that they didn't think Lee Johnson was the right man for the job at the time, so they made that decision. But everyone in the change room at the time was like, we're a bit shocked because obviously we were sitting third in the league and we still had the chance of getting automatic promotion.
Yeah. Well, how is that? Because, normally a manager gets sacked and you're bottom of the league or you're struggling or you're on a run where you haven't won for 10 games or whatever and you see the writing on the wall. I mean, this one just almost one defeat and the manager's gone. And you're winning most of your games.
It's Sunderland at the end of the day, man. You never know what's going to happen. No, but like as footballers, you just have to stay professional, whatever happens. We had a good core squad there, a good lot of lads, experienced lads in the squad that would help the younger lads out because the younger lads probably haven't experienced a manager getting sacked. Where at my time at Oldham, I seen one every week going out the door, so I was kind of used to it. But nah, it was just one of them ones. As a squad, you just have to stay professional. And like we knew our job at hand was still the game promotion, and that was our full focus.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me it's Sunderland. I've been watching these managers come and go for over 30 years now. But yeah, I mean, thinking about who came in, because it was Alex Neil who replaced Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
And from the outside, this looked like an appointment that brought in the complete opposite management style to Lee Johnson. I mean, did it feel like that from the inside?
No, I think Alex Neil he was, I think the thing was we're probably more likely going to be in the playoffs, and his playoff record was really good.
Mm.
So I think he was obviously got Norwich was it into the Premier League. So we had that Premier League experience. So a lot of lads were excited by it. Coming in, and look, he was a breath of fresh air. Really, I think everyone at the club loved him. He came in. He was like straight to the point. He said, "This is what we set out. This is our goal, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it. We have the squad of lads. We have everyone in here capable of doing it." And like I say, just a breath of fresh air, and I think everyone loved him.
Yeah. It's interesting you talk like that because you watched him in press conferences, and I think the local press corps were absolutely frightened to death of him. But I mean, did he have that impact on the squad?
Yeah, well, obviously he had that aura about him, so he did. Like he wouldn't take no nonsense. Anyone stepped out of the lane, then he would have put you in your place. But he was a really, really, really good guy, and one of the people that I think you seen in all the lads that would give their all for him. They would like basically run for a brick wall for him.
Mm. Well, we went on that incredible run where I think we didn't lose for something like 13 games going into those playoffs. I mean, again, was that all about just momentum, or was there something Alex Neil did that was just clicking?
Yeah, mentality as well. I think if you're not going to win a game, don't lose it. Keep picking up with points. And install that mentality into the lads and never give up no matter what happens. Always stick together. And I thought, like I said, the lads done that towards the back end of the season.
Yeah. And it was in that run, we played Cambridge United when we won 5-1, but you came off injured after 10 minutes. And look, injury at any point is going to be a bit of a... But I imagine it's that little bit worse when you're part of a team that's on a run like that and you're desperate to be on the pitch.
Got it, mate. Absolutely got it. Like I knew straight away as soon as it happened. I was like, nah, this ain't right. I get up and I went to like take a step, and I felt it straight away. And then kind of had it in the back of my head. I was thinking, hopefully it's not as bad as what I thought. But then I got the scan results back, and then my season was done. It was devastated. So it was.
Yeah. I mean, again, because as you mentioned, you weren't involved in those playoff games, but is it a case of when you're in that position that you give the players who are fit a bit of space, or do you almost become a bit cheerleader for them? Because I imagine because you played such a big part, you played 4 games in all competitions that season, and to be out that late on, I imagine you were part of that group.
Yeah, big time. I was the biggest cheerleader they could have. No matter what, I get along with everyone. I was just trying to keep the spirits high. Every day, every game, I would be there. Whatever it is up in the canteen, in the gym, whatever, just trying to keep the spirits high throughout the day. Keep pushing the lads and just being there if anyone needed me. Really, I was trying to be a good character in the change room.
Yeah. So that game at Hillsborough, were you actually at Hillsborough, or were you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. So it was unbelievable.
I imagine there was what was the celebrations like after that? Because I imagine Alex Neil going, "Hang on, we haven't done anything yet."
No, it was obviously it was brilliant. See when Patrick scored, it was just unbelievable. So it was the celebrations. Everyone was just buzzing. Everyone was so delighted. So it was just a relief. So it was the know that we were going to the final.
Yeah, but Alex Neil hid the champagne, I imagine.
No, I know I wasn't out yet, so it wasn't.
Wasn't a proper celebration.
No, waiting to the final, so we were.
So what was it like, kind of building up to Wembley for you? Because again, were you feeling the lads' pressure and trying to just help out where you could, where you thought actually there's a bit of tension here, I'm gonna
Yeah,
try.
well, I think a lot of lads in the team they've played in big games. So obviously they've played at a high level and they know what to do to get them through it. But like I say, I was just there just to help them out really. But a lot of them like experience playing in big games, experience big moments throughout their career, so they were kind of used to it. But obviously the younger lads who probably haven't experienced it, you were just kind of like guiding them through it. And to be fair, everyone was brilliant. Everyone got along, and it was a real good connection throughout the team.
Yeah. Well, how did you enjoy Wembley? Because were you you were a bit like the fans, because we had about 60, almost 70,000 in Wembley, I think, and Wickham had about 10 people behind that goal. But that we had this feeling that day where we just thought, this is our day.
I think we knew as well as a team, just because throughout the season, just what we've been through, the character we showed, and just the real togetherness in the squad. I think I knew, like personally, deep down inside, that we were going to get the job done. Like I just knew it on the day, and I think I celebrated more than the players on the pitch. So I was absolutely buzzing for them because some like I was to say football, it's not always ups. It's a lot of downs as well with them. And for a club like Sunderland that had so many downs in the past number of years before that, and just to give everyone at the club, fans, like staff, everyone, just that there bit of relief and a lift and something to cheer about it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, players put the emphasis on fans enjoying it, but the amount of pressure on those players, and then to get over the line, there must have been this huge release from
Uh,
those players that had actually done it.
yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I was obviously the year before. The fans obviously weren't there, but I was in the change room after the semi final, and everyone was devastated and got it.
Hmm.
And obviously, you work hard all season, and the main goal is to get promoted. And the season before, we didn't do that there, and just the mood about the change room and after and all, it just wasn't nice. And obviously to get it done, because it is a long, hard season, especially you play loads of games, cup games, league games, and you got them other cup, like what is it, the Tractor Trade Cup now, or the under 23 cup games where League One teams playing it. So there's a lot of games. So just to get over the line at the end of the season, through all the hard work you put out during the season, it's
Hmm.
just the biggest relief ever.
Yeah. I mean, just on that season, we said 45 games in all competitions, but where did you feel your best position was? Because at one point, and I think that maybe the first half of the season from memory, you were
Yeah,
absolutely flying
flying it right
right
back.
back. Yeah, but
Yeah.
most people would think of you as a midfielder, I think.
Yeah, well, I was a midfielder, but like I say, manager asked me to play anywhere for Sunderland or any team. I'll go out there and do a job for the team. Like I'm not one of them ones. I'll just
Hmm.
like sit about and huff and puff and not playing in the right position. I'm just happy to be a team player, and I think I showed that throughout my time at Sunderland.
Hmm.
But my best position now probably right back, where I enjoyed it, bombing up and down, scored a couple of
Yeah, yeah.
goals. So I enjoy playing right back. And then obviously I played midfield a couple of times. And then Alex Neil played me right of the back three as well, because he said he obviously knew I had pace to cover if the ball ever went over the top. So he liked me in that position. But at the end of the day, mate, look, I'm playing for Sunderland, so I'm just happy to stay on that pitch.
I just wish I'd gotten a chance, mate, to be honest.
That's what I mean. Every kid's dream in Sunderland is what I was living, to be fair. So
I'm in
I
my
can't
still think I can do it. Don't worry about
get you
that.
in there, mate.
But you, going into that pre-season, you were involved in some of the pre-season friendlies. But what were your thoughts as we were strengthening a little bit? I mean, were you prepared to just fight for your place? Because your final game ended up being a League Cup tie against Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, were the conversations about you potentially moving on, or were you saying, no, I'm willing to fight for my place here?
I think it was the terms of like the caliber of players that we're bringing in. Obviously they brought in Diallo, they brought in a lot of players, and I wasn't making squads for the league. I think it was a bit last man back, and I wasn't getting any younger. And I knew Sunderland, the type of model they were bringing in was younger players. So older players, probably contract situation. I was in the last year of my contract, and I knew I needed to play games for me to stand a chance of getting a good contract somewhere else. So it was just a decision I probably made myself. I spoke with obviously the new manager at the time, Tony Mowbray. He was only in for a couple of days, so I spoke with the higher up and they were just like, look, I know you've done well last season. We really thank you for that. But your game time probably this season will be limited. So I was thinking, for myself, I need to go out and play as much games as possible and try and earn the right for a better contract, probably somewhere else. Because I knew obviously Sunderland, look, you're moving up a division. Realistically, you're going to be bringing in better players. Look, I'm a realist. I know they're going to be bringing in players that are better than me at the end of the day, and my chances probably would have been limited. So I just wanted to go out and play as much games as I can to earn a contract just for myself and my family as well.
Yeah. Was there not part of you that thought, hang on, I played 45 games in all competitions to get the club here, that you didn't deserve at least a small chance just to say I can prove myself in the Championship?
Yeah, 100%, mate. But sometimes that's just not the way football works. New manager coming in as well, and he'll probably have like different ideas, or he likes certain players. So I just thought, look, I got the club on the upwards to the Championship, so I can walk away with my head held high.
Well, it's incredible, really, to think about it, because we are just talking 3 years ago, pretty much just over since you left the club, and we're talking about Sunderland being in the top half of the Premier League, and we've just spent almost 200 million in one summer. I mean, because when you say it like that, it feels longer since you left.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a time ago now, like, so it does. But look, see that club, it always had the potential to do that there. I seen it firsthand. Like, let's be honest, it's a Premier League club. Everything, the stadium, the fan base, the facilities, everything in place is a Premier League club. And now they're back to where they belong. And a lot of the players, obviously, when I was there, look, everyone's moved, most of them's moved on now. I think the mainstay in the team is Trey now. From the League One area. Obviously, Dan Neal and that, Pato, they're still about. But I think Trey's the only one in the team now. But if you want to compete in the Premier League, you're going to have to spend that type of money nowadays, as you've seen, because the calibre of players is really, really good.
Yeah. Do you see those parallels in some ways? When we went from League One up to the Championship and we brought in, a whole host of players there, and the likes of yourself who played a big part.
Yeah.
And we've got a whole host of players who played a huge part, not only getting us up to the Premier League, but didn't help, you in the same squad as you, getting us up from League One to the Championship. And almost it's that ruthlessness of football that they've almost been discarded, even though they got the club there in the first place.
I think if you're player deep down inside, you do realise that it does happen. Let's be honest. Everyone does realise if you want to reach that next level, you're going to have to bring in these type of players that are going to get you, like I say, from when I was there, from the Championship in the Premier League, and now that they get the type of player that's going to keep you in the Premier League and be a mainstay in there. So I think deep down inside, as a person, as a player, you do realise that there yourself.
Well, as I said, you left Sunderland and you spent a few years at Shrewsbury Town. Just quickly at Shrewsbury Town, you spent some time playing under Steve Cotterill, I think.
Yeah, cuts.
Because he was at Sunderland under, I think he was assistant manager with Howard Wilkinson, but he's got a great reputation in the game, and he's been manager for a long time now, hasn't
he? Yeah, brilliant. He's done really well. Most of the clubs he's been at, he's done really well. Great. He was great with me. So he was. I enjoyed my time at Shrewsbury under him. He's crazy, like, but he's a really good manager. He knows his stuff, and I think that's why he keeps getting jobs, because he goes into the places and he fixes them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said at the beginning, you're at Derry City now. Are you still enjoying it? And are you back to being a midfielder now?
Yeah, I'm back playing midfield, and yeah, I'm enjoying it, mate. I'm back home, back with the family. Get to see the family every day, so I can't complain really. So, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, good stuff. Have you got any plans to kind of move into coaching or stay in the game in some capacity?
Me and my brother, we've opened up our own wee coaching thing in Belfast. We help kids out. Obviously, over here, I think kids don't get enough coaching in terms of, like, they would probably only get 1 or 2 hours a week with their local football club. So me and my brother, we've built like a little indoor facility where we take 1-to-ones, group sessions. So we're doing that there. Once obviously I finish training that there and get the time to do it, we would do that there. So he mainly runs it, but I'm there as well.
Oh, brilliant, good stuff. Well, I mean, just quickly, just to finish off on Sunderland, because obviously, Premier League now, and we were frustrated that we didn't get something at Old Trafford, which says a lot. But you look at those games this season, and I imagine you might have had a slight half an eye on just how we're getting on.
Yeah, always catch it, always watch it, always watch it, mate.
But when you do you think actually, looking at where the club are now, I actually played a part in their kind of resurgence back up the leagues?
Big time, and that's what I always say to people. Like, you always have to start somewhere, building up, and I was at the start of that there on they're upward towards the Premier League. So, like I say, I can always walk away with my head held high and saying that you started where they are now, basically. And look, they're doing unbelievable now. Like, they've signed some really, really top players who's playing at the highest level, signed a lot of international players as well. And I don't see why not. Why can't they finish in the top 10 this season? Like, I know it's a tough league, but I don't the caliber of players they have, I don't see why not, because they've started really well.
I thought we were getting carried away saying above 17th, but I'll take the top half, I tell you.
I really do. The players, it's not even that there. The home advantage as well. It's like at the stadium, like, it's very intimidating for other teams coming. So if they can take advantage of that there, then pick up points away from home, then I don't see why not.
Yeah. Well, have you made many trips back since you left?
No, but so the way our season runs, we finish on the end of October. So I might try and get the game in November, December time.
Brilliant. Well, it would be fantastic to see you back for a visit. And I know you've squeezed us in before you have to go out and pick the kids up. So we just want to say thank you very much for your time, Carl, fitting us in, and we wish you all the luck with Derry City for the season ahead, mate.
Thank you very much, and same to you.
Good stuff, brilliant. Cheers, Carl. And thanks again for everyone for listening. As always, we'll have everything Sunderland AFC related covered every single day on either the Roker Report website or a podcast every day on How We're the Podcast, of course. But from us, bye for now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Find the biggest best voices in sport on the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Like Fight Disciples. With me, Adam Catterall, and my good mate Nick Peat, your ultimate podcast for everything boxing and MMA. From breaking down the biggest fights and in-depth previews and reviews, we bring you closer to the fight game more than ever before. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just starting out, this is the podcast for you. Search Fight Disciples and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sports Social Podcast Network.